A first batch of 20 Filipinos have been allowed to exit war-torn Gaza on Sunday. The Foreign Affairs Department says a next batch may be allowed to leave in the coming days. A first batch of 20 Filipinos have been allowed to exit war-torn Gaza on Sunday. The Foreign Affairs Department says a next batch may be allowed to leave in the coming days. The House of Representatives has submitted the proposed 5.7 trillion peso 2024 budget to the Senate during a special session convened for Japanese Prime Minister Kishida Fumio. The Armed Forces of the Philippines claim Chief Romeo Bronner was misquoted when he confirmed an alleged destabilization plot against the Marcos Jr. administration. Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's a roundup of stories we're watching now. I'm Riza Diaz. We begin the newscast with the first batch of Filipinos being allowed to leave Gaza through the Rafah crossing. Foreign Affairs Undersecretary Eddie De Vega said 20 Filipinos will leave the Palestinian enclave through the Rafah crossing tomorrow, November 5. There are 23 Filipinos for the next batch, but De Vega said they have to wait, or they want to have at least 30 individuals to fill the allotted slots. If not filled, the slots would be given to other nationals. De Vega noted only 43 Filipinos have so far signified that they definitely want to leave Gaza. The official explained this is because many do not want to leave their Palestinian spouse or parents. The Philippine Congress has convened a special session to welcome Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida. Now, during the session, Kishida said he was honored to speak before the Filipino lawmakers. He also pointed out Tokyo's ties with Manila, saying it is stronger than ever. Kishida is the first Japanese Prime Minister to address the Philippine Congress.
The Philippines, with the second largest population among ASEAN countries and more than 300,000 citizens living in Japan, is an irreplaceable partner for Japan. I'm honored to have the opportunity to be the first Japanese Prime Minister to speak here at the Congress of the Philippines. The relationship between Japan and the Philippines is stronger than ever.
Meanwhile, Senate President Juan Miguel Zubiri said they support the reciprocal access agreement with Japan. President Bongbong Marcos and Kishida earlier agreed to start negotiations on the RAA, which would allow joint drills and other security activities between Manila and Tokyo. Now, speaking to the press, Zubiri said the Senate is ready to discuss and ratify the RAA. Now, also during today's special session, the House of Representatives has officially transmitted the proposed 5.7 trillion 2024 national budget to the Senate. Majority Leader Representative Manuel Jose Dalipe made the motion to send House Bill number 8980 to the upper chamber. The House bill includes a General Appropriations Bill, which the House approved on the third and final reading last September. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. The Armed Forces of the Philippines has clarified reports on the supposed destabilization plot against the Marcos Jr. administration. In a statement, AFP spokesperson Colonel Medel Aguilar said Military Chief of Staff General Romeo Bronner was, quote, simply misquoted on his remarks that there were plots to overthrow the president. He added Bronner was merely mentioning the reported efforts by certain people to, quote, upset the peace and stability of the country. With this, the spokesman said Bronner only reminded military members not to engage in such efforts. Now, at the change of command ceremony for Westmincom, Bronner revealed that there were calls from former military officers to stage protests and overthrow the president. The AFP chief also said he was able to personally talk to some of these instigators.
Panawagan ko sa ating mga kasumpeluhan, officers and enlisted personnel, huwag tayong sumama sa mga ganito. Once we find out that any one of our active personnel are involved in this, we will act swiftly. Let's give our country a chance to move forward to progress.
China has successfully launched a new communication technology experiment satellite into the outer space. The satellite was sent from the Wenchang spacecraft launch site in southern Hainan on Friday. It was launched by a modified version of the Long March 7 carrier rocket. The satellite will be mainly used for multiband and high-speed communication technology experiments. At least 128 people were reportedly killed and hundreds more were injured after a 6.4 earthquake struck western Nepal. The tremor occurred at around 11:47 local time on Friday. Districts Jajarkot and Rukum saw the most damage and casualties. Local officials warned that the death toll could still rise as the search continues for those buried under the rubble. Hundreds of Palestinian supporters have gathered in Sydney, Australia to call for a ceasefire in war-torn Gaza. They spread out a large Palestinian flag, held signs and bloodied baby dolls, and later marched through the city. Gaza health officials said over 9,000 Palestinians, including women and children, have been so far killed by Israel since October 7. War veterans gathered in New Orleans, Louisiana to see the latest addition at the National World War II Museum. More in this report by the Associated Press.
This museum is about war, but it's also about the totality of the American experience.
Absolutely spectacular. It's something everybody should see once in their lifetime, and once they do, they will come back.
It makes me very sad to recall the circumstances of so many young men that died.
In many ways, maybe giving a voice to, what the veterans may not have talked about because they just knew.
This was a way to put his time to use and really to get an occupation, to have something to focus on besides just sitting around.
It created a global environment where freedom could flourish more than it had in the past, and that's important to protect and defend.
And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us again tomorrow as we monitor the day's biggest stories. I'm Riza Diaz. We are One News.